Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Bristol Township Zoning Hearing Board. I'd like to get started by standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remove your hats. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let me introduce you to a few people. So sitting to my left is our solicitor, Keith Bidleymeyer. Our director of L&I, Bob McTeague. Sitting in for Cindy Oliveira, stenographer is Vicky Mengel. Call the board, please, Mr. Secretary.
Gerard Lycon. Here. Jim McMahon.
Here.
Colleen Dunn.
Here.
Ed Murphy here.
Okay, I think I got everybody. Let's get started. First on the agenda. Let's see here. Josh Simpson, 2405 New Falls Road, Levittown. Please come on up.
Mr. Simpson, before you walk away, do you have your proof of notification and also posting?
Yeah, all the pictures of the proof of notification
Bring-
are up there.
Bring one up, hand it to the solicitor, please.
Which one is that? So here are the letters. And then while I'm up here, I'll give you this. This is a previous variance that this board granted us.
And the proof of, you said the proof of posting of the properties on there?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
If you would just. I'm sure I can get it for you. It is, page 6 maybe? See the pictures of the notices maybe?
And for the record, Mr. Simpson, you hand me a packet of papers, which are neighbor notification letters. Also, you advised that the property was posted. And can you state now that we've opened the record, was the property posted at least 2 weeks before tonight's meeting? Great, thank you. We'll give it to Sherman.
Okay, you can proceed.
Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for hearing me on this. My name is Josh Simpson. I'm accompanied by my wife and the owners of 2405 New Falls Road and solution-based plumbing and heating. You have a copy of the variance that was granted by this board 2016, I believe. The request for relief is based on a 4-foot fence limitation in the front yard for a residential property. The code for a commercial property is 8 feet, and based on the variance that we've obtained, what we're asking for is relief just to 5 feet. We are a highly targeted type of business because of the copper and equipment and tools that we have, and we're just trying to have a
Hey,
little
Josh,
bit more.
is the green light on that mic?
We're just asking for a little bit more security. We do understand that it still presents itself as a residential property by and large. Most of this fence will be completely encompassed by landscaping that's already in place. The style of fence that we picked, which is page 10, is open so that it's easy for police and firefighters to see through. So we tried to be as considerate as possible in our request, and only going to 5 feet, which kind of gives us a little more security. We get a lot of undesirable walking traffic from New Falls Road. We've had a couple. We had one theft of about $15,000 worth of tools. We have people coming on the property saying, hey, can we look in your copper bin? Like, we have that kind of thing going on. So I'm trying to both secure the property for the business as well as maintain. It's a beautiful home, you know what I mean? And so we're trying to fit the bill on both of them. So we tried to do a half step. If you look at this picture, actually, New Falls Road to the right of the driveway, that area, that L-shaped area that goes from the box truck that you see there forward, turns, and what the problem is with the code is the front yard starts at the edge where you see 2425. the front yard technically starts right at that garage, that accessory building. So we're about 25 feet past that, 125 feet long and 25 feet back. And so we have a total non-conforming fence that would be approximately, whatever I just said, 175 feet or something. The rest of the fence then goes all the way around the property and kind of encases that area and protects some of the most sensitive things that we have on the property. So that's, you know, in a nutshell, that's what we're looking for.
All right. Any questions from the board?
I just have one question.
Yep,
The fence you're talking about, does it already exist, or you're planning on putting it up?
planning on putting it up.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah, Gerard.
When I went out there, I was checking out your property where you're gonna put the fence. I mean, you're completely surrounded with trees and bushes. Are you like gonna go behind them?
I'm gonna actually weave it through to try and hide it as much as I can. There'll be areas in the winter and right and left.
Yeah.
Where it'll peek out. It'll peek out as it comes by the firehouse. There'll be gates, you know, we have parking agreement and lease with the firehouse for parking. So we'll be able to move around, but yeah, you'll see it in some spots, yeah.
Yeah, I just was surprised, 'cause it's beautiful. The landscape is beautiful, but
Thanks, we
I
spent a
didn't
lot of time
understand
on
where
it.
you're putting the fence.
I'm gonna literally try to bury it as much as I can.
Now, what is it gonna be, like a chain link?
No, it's gonna be a beautiful Jareth aluminum, you know, looks like wrought iron.
Okay,
You
yeah, I know
know,
what
that
it is,
type
yeah.
of thing. But yeah, the whole point here is, you know, I'm
Stop
trying.
the foot traffic.
Yeah, stop the foot traffic, because we get a lot of weird stuff, man. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a couple times my daughter's come out and she's come running back and be like, Dad, there's someone in the yard. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stop that kind of thing. And 4 foot is just enough where an enterprising person that really wants to come talk to us can go
Yeah.
right over it. So that's the point there.
So you're not blocking any sight lines or anything? It doesn't seem like that to me from the picture, so,
Not at all.
okay.
But we're well back from the setback. We just happen to be in the front yard, based on setback and that accessory building.
Yeah. Anybody else? Bob? Anybody from the audience like to come up for or against this project? It's a pleasure of the board.
I'll make a motion for this project.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Call the board, please.
Gerard Lycon,
Yes.
Jim McMahon,
Yes.
Colleen Dunn,
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, next is, on the agenda, Patrick Hart, 1416 Micah Street, Bristol. Please come on up.
Name notification and posting? Yes. Perfect, thank you. Mr. Thompson, the date that the property was posted, do you know? Was it at least 2 weeks before tonight's
Oh,
meeting?
yes, it was, yeah,
All right, was it the date that the township gave the homeowner the placards?
yes.
All right. Thank you.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Hi, I'm William Thompson, attorney for the Harps. We are here in front of the zoning hearing board on March 10th, 2024, requesting variances. There was an order entered by the zoning hearing board which approved our request for variances, subject to certain conditions. We had to remove the side deck bordering the Tavares property. We had to remove 2 concrete slabs in the front yard. And then we're going to apply for a permit for the approval of an 8-foot high fence and a variance for the same. And we're here tonight for the variance from 6 foot to 8 foot on the fence that was indicated in the zoning hearing board order.
Okay.
We have proofs in our PowerPoint of the work that was already done, consistent with what you approved. If you can just go back one, if you would. Thank you, Bill, appreciate that. At the top with Tavares property, we're looking to have 71 feet and add the 8-foot fence right along the barrier, right along the current fence line between the pool and the Tavares property to inhibit looking in, as this board has indicated. And these are the photos. Now, this photo, I have a updated photograph just recently taken, if I could just put it in, of all that side decking was removed. I also have a package of all these documents, hard copy if the board wants to see anything. Is that
Sure,
okay?
please. I'd like to see the picture.
Okay. I made color copies of the picture. This is a packet of everything that we did. All the paperwork that's up there. This is the brand-new photo.
Okay. Solicitor's gonna mark these exhibits, I would assume, right?
Yes, Mr. Thompson, if you don't have any pre-marked exhibits.
Yes, we have pre-marked exhibits already, and they're in your packages with the numbers, but this one in front of you on the screens, A6, if we slide back a little, yeah.
Are all of these on the PowerPoint in the same packet you just provided us?
That is correct. All of them are there, all of them are attached for everyone to see.
I think, okay, it might be a revised package.
The only thing that's in addition is the new photo that I just handed you, that's in all your packages.
Okay, and that's marked as,
I didn't mark that yet, but we're up to 6 where we are all of our photos. So,
A7,
this
okay.
could be A7,
A7,
if that's okay, yes.
great.
And it shows that all the decking's been removed, that's adjacent to the Tavares property. The 2 concrete slabs in front have been removed, there's dirt there. And now we're looking for a variance from the board so we can put the 8-foot fence up consistent with your order.
If we could just mark the PowerPoint as A8.
So moved. Okay. Do you have any witnesses?
I have testimony if the board wants to hear anything, but the photos are pretty self-explanatory.
I don't know what the board thinks, but I don't think it's necessary. No? No? Okay, you done?
Yes,
You-
sir.
Okay. Public comment against? All right, pleasure of the board, please.
I'll put a motion for it.
I'll second it.
All the board, please.
Gerard Lycon,
Yes.
Jim McMahon,
Yes.
Colleen Dunn,
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes. Good luck.
Thank you very much for all your courtesies.
Okay, we're moving right along here. Number 3, Linda Dean Bozina. Bozina. Sorry, I apologize. Okay. 512 Cassingham Road, Fairless.
I'm here to request a variance
You have to go to the mic.
for a 6-foot fence on my side yard, corner lot. That was denied because because it's a corner lot with a stop sign.
Right.
In my packet, I did go around the neighborhood, mostly at the end of my street.
Right.
And all the pictures show you corner lots with fences.
All right, Ms. Bozina, before we get too much further, do you have your mail-ins and
Yeah.
proof of posting?
Right, the posters have been posted,
Can you bring them up to the solicitor, please?
yes. Here's mine.
These are neighbor notifications, and did you post the property, the plat for the township deed?
Yeah, the big yellow sign,
Yes.
yeah,
Where'd
in
you
my
put it?
front, 2 windows on the side of my
Okay,
house.
do you know the date that you
And they
posted?
saw them.
Okay, do you know the date that you posted it? Was it at least 2 weeks before tonight?
As soon as I got them, I came in, I posted them.
Okay, all right, so,
I saw them up.
the court reporter's gonna, swear you in, I'll just ask you the same questions. We'll answer, she swears you in.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Whole neighborhood has come around and asked me about the posters. They
Oh,
thought I
he's
was gonna have
hold
a.
on.
I'm gonna ask you a couple of quick questions.
Okay.
Ms. Bozina, you notified your neighbors as required, and you had them sign the forms that you just handed up, is that accurate?
Yes,
Okay, and also you posted the placard that the township gave you on your property at least 2 weeks before tonight's meeting?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bostini, you can proceed.
Okay, so the pictures you see in the packets are of just houses really on my street. There's 12 to 15 of them that are on corner lots with stop signs, and they are either wooden or PVC. I'm requesting to replace my existing fence with a 6-foot PVC. For privacy, but for safety also, because teenagers climb my fence on the side and take a swim in my pool like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Over the years, they have left a couple bottles of beer for me, but I'm afraid they might go in there drunk or something and hit their head or.
Okay, is that your full presentation? Ms. Bozina?
Yes, I took 2 more pictures because of the drawing that's in there. Although it's your drawing, I thought maybe, this would be a little bit more
You got it,
explanatory.
All right, if you want the board to see, what I'll do is I'll mark them
Okay,
as, collectively as A1. Are these the board copies that the board can see?
okay.
Yeah, you'll have to go back to the microphone too, please.
Yeah, that's the one I seen.
So you're taking that fence all the way to the stop sign, or it's gonna stop where the 4-foot is now?
I'm gonna stop it where the 4-foot is now.
Okay, all right.
And I'm going to have it 4 feet in.
Why 6 feet, not 5 feet, or not?
I was thinking about a grass cutter, to get in there to cut the grass. And I didn't, although some houses on the street have the fence right at the sidewalk, I didn't want it right at the sidewalk. I thought, kids would maybe graffiti on it if it was close to the sidewalk. So like 4 or 5 feet in, I think was better. What do you think?
I'm a curious soul. I ask a lot of curious questions, so I'm just curious why. Okay. Bob, anything to add to this, or?
Nothing to add to that, Jim.
All right, how about any questions from the board?
No questions, but when I drove out there, her fence is pretty beat up, her chain link. And there is no blind spots, like I drove around the block, kept turning to see if a tall fence would be a problem. I didn't see anything, I think it'll be fine. That's my point of view.
Anybody else?
Approximately how many feet is your fence going to be from that stop sign?
Off the top of my head, I can't measure it off the top of my head, but you see the stop sign and you see the beginning of the chain link fence?
I would think 30 feet, maybe.
Yeah. Is it called a chain link? What's it called?
Chain link.
Chain link.
Well, we can make that a condition that she doesn't go any further than the original chain link fence, if that's necessary. all right?
The fence stops at the side of your house, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's, it's one of our drawings, 42 feet.
But I didn't know if it was the stop sign or if
Oh,
it was
okay.
to the end of the property line.
All right, anybody else from the board? Anybody from the audience? For or against? All right, so would you agree to the condition that the new fence goes no further than, if the board approves this, the condition would be no further than the original fence that's there now? You can't go any further than where the chain link fence is now.
right, for
Okay?
sure, yeah.
You agree to that? If they
Yes, I do.
approve that? Okay. Motion, I need a motion from the board. What is the pleasure of the board, please?
I'll make a motion for this.
Okay, give me a second.
I'll second.
All right, call the board.
Gerard Lycon,
Yes,
Jim McMahon,
Okay, yes.
Colleen Dunn,
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes.
There you go, ma'am.
Kids coming at you.
Uh,
All right?
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Number 4, Alan Ricardo, 2102 Prospect Avenue, Croydon. Please come on up. Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Vicki, and swear him in, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
What's the truth? Yes, sir.
Mr. Ricardo, you hand me up some documents, one of which is the neighbor notifications. Looks like you had your neighbor sign, and also you mailed some of the notifications. Is that accurate?
Yes,
All right, and then the property, the placard from the township, did you post that on your property?
yes, I did. I have it on my phone.
That's okay. So it was posted, what they gave you, correct, the yellow placard?
Yes.
All right, and was it posted at least two weeks before tonight's meeting?
It was posted 2 weeks, and then we had that big storm. And then with the wind and everything, it tore them, but I had to tape them up, and then I pushed them back up again.
All right, very well.
Okay. You can, honesty, I love it. Go ahead. You may proceed, sir.
Okay, what I'm doing, what I'm here for the board, I want to put a carport. It's got just a regular carport, no sides, just the roof to protect my, I got a 1999 Silverado truck, and I got a Hyundai. It's a 20, it's new, it's 2024. And what I want to do is just protect it from the elements of the weather. And that's all,
So there'll never be size on it.
no side, what I got in the back was, it's no blacktop, no electric, it's just gonna be a plain old, just a roof. And
Okay, so you need the side yard setback. What are you at now? If you put it there, what? Do you have, you know what the side yard?
1 foot from the property line.
1 foot from the property
Yeah,
line.
it's built already, Jim. It's 1 foot.
Oh, we got a no permit guy. Here we go. My favorite.
being honest.
All right. Okay, well, Mr. Ricardo, I don't know if you know this or not, but you need a permit for everything in this township, okay?
Well, I had a temporary carport, a canopy, and like I said, from the, what you call it,
Listen,
blew
you were
over.
honest in the very beginning, so we're gonna
it was good while it lasted.
let this one slide, but.
I appreciate it.
Permits for everything, right? Everybody knows that. Everybody's aware of that, right? Okay, call the township if you're not sure. They will answer any questions you have. Bob loves answering questions.
Okay.
I'll give you his number personally if you want me to right after.
Yeah,
the meeting. All right. Okay, continue. Is that?
yeah,
is that
that's
all
all, I just wanted, get the
Okay.
approval for just a carport.
Okay, any questions from the board?
I do for Bob.
Bob, are there any other outstanding issues at the property?
No.
Anybody else? Gerard, comments?
I'm good.
How about that? No comments. How did it look?
You already started it. I mean, it's right on the property line, and
All right.
choices are up or trusses, but
Bob, anything? Anything to add? Nothing further, okay. Anybody from the audience like to come up for or against this project? No public comment? You guys all here for the one applicant, or? All right.
I have a comment,
Come on up, man.
just a question.
You gotta
Gotta
talk
go
into
to
the
the mic.
microphone, please.
Just gonna have a
You gotta go to the mic.
Gotta go to the microphone, please.
just gonna have a roof. How does it stand?
I got my, post.
Yeah, 6x6, post, pressure treated post.
Yeah,
If you're gonna speak, you gotta speak into the microphone,
Yeah,
please. Thank you.
Oh, okay, so it isn't just a canopy?
right,
it's-
right.
Okay, because I had a carport,
Okay,
yeah, and I was just, okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
I love it. Okay. What's the pleasure of the board on this application, please?
I'll make a motion for this, but to remind everyone, like Jim says, you need a permit before you do anything,
Gotcha.
all right?
Please, and listen,
It's for everyone's benefit.
it's,
Yeah,
yeah, and I won't go into how much it's, no, I won't say it. I'll stop right there. Okay, yeah, pleasure, what's the pleasure of the board?
I just made a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Hold the board, please.
Colleen Dunn,
No.
Jim McMahon,
Yes.
Gerard Lycon,
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes. Get a permit.
thank you.
Okay, thanks. Moving on here. Jadelyn Kennedy, another prospect, 987 Prospect Avenue, Croydon, PA. Come on up. Oh, boy.
That is not, no. I just have paper copies.
How you doing?
It should be marked. I'm Jennifer Bizzetto, I'm court attorney.
Okay. And, neighbor notification and posting is all in here? Great, thank you.
Note the posting is in the photo section.
Okay.
Sorry.
Can you just advise the date the property was posted
It was the day that they picked up the notification
from the township?
from the township, yeah.
Thank
It was more than 2 weeks ago.
Okay, you may proceed.
Sure. Do you need me to be sworn in, or as an attorney am I? Okay, great. So my name is Jennifer Bizzetto. I'm here today representing the homeowner, Jadelyn Kennedy, and her husband, Jeff. They live at this property along with their children. I've handed up the exhibits, which has our complete application record, including permit applications, appeal forms, deeds, a little sketch of the plans, also the copy of the notices to the near neighbors with proof of receipt, photos of the property, some Google map images of the property and surrounding areas, as well as some drone pictures of other nearby properties, which we'll talk about. And I just want to make sure that all of that is entered into the record. So my clients purchased this property in 2017 in a foreclosure sale. It was in rough shape, and they've been in the process of improving both the inside and the outside of the property. In May of 2023, admittedly, they poured the concrete that is in question here without a permit. They now know they need permits for everything and are in the process of obtaining those permits, and that is when we realized that there might be some variances necessary. So there was some additional concrete poured around a pool and a patio, and there was a shed erected on the property. The pool was already there with a small patio around it, and they extended that patio. And there was a shed on the property, and they constructed a larger shed. When they received a violation, and just so you know, the shed is used for storage of just like bikes, toys, lawn equipment. There's no garage on this property, which is why they were looking for a larger shed. And the same thing with the pool. There wasn't really enough room to put like a lounge chair or anything around it, so they were adding space. There's no space to put a grill. That's why you got the patio. And so, you know, they went about the process of trying to rectify the violations that were issued. This resulted in 2 variances, or the need for 2 variances, which I'm pretty sure one of them is definitely not actually necessary and might be due to a confusion on the plan and reading it as inches when it's actually feet. So the first thing I want to address is the shed. And so what was needed was a variance from the rear yard setback requirements. According to the code, a shed needs to be at least 3 feet from the property line. This shed's actually somewhere between 7 and 8 feet from the rear property line. But when you look at the plans that are in the submission, I think they marked them as inches and not feet, which is probably what generated that refusal. But that is compliant with the code. It is over 100 feet, so they do need a building permit, and as soon as we have the zoning permissions, those permits will be obtained. So that's just, I think that one's pretty easily handled. I think that's just a confusion. The second is for, but if not, I just want to add in that it backs up. The only really affected neighbor is the large apartment complex in the back. So that rear property line backs up to the parking lot, or one of the parking lots for a several hundred unit apartment complex. So it's really not impeding on anyone's like private yard or anything like that. So the second variance is for the side yard setback of both the patio and the pool concrete. You can see in the overhead images where those patios and that pool is. I also included images of what the pool looked like when they purchased the property. You could see the photo of it really being overgrown and swampy. And then in other photos, you can sort of see where the old concrete is and where they laid the additional concrete around it. So the pool was an existing condition and they added the patio around it. And then for the patio in the rear and the side of the property, that's located right behind their house in the place where you would expect the patio to be. It wouldn't make sense to put that in the middle of their yard when that's where their house is. I would also say that there's nothing above this concrete. There's no structures, it is concrete. And I was just, when looking at the code, it seems like the side yard setbacks are for structures, and we don't have a structure here. We have a patio, we have concrete. So I'm not so sure, I can't say for sure, but it seems like maybe this is a misinterpretation on their part, but I'm not sure. But in any case, when you look at the other images of both the drones photos and the Google Earth images, you can see that having a patio, a large patio around your pool, or a patio in general, like all the way up to the property line is a fairly common condition. All of those photos are from this block or at farthest away, one block away. So this is fairly common in the neighborhood to have these patios surrounding their pools and their houses. And I will say that we are up to a 30% impervious surface is allowed in this zoning district. They're about 15%. So where you might start to be concerned by having impervious surfaces too close to the property line, we have a lot of open space, as do the neighbors on the other side. So I would just say that, you know, I think that the first refusal is definitely incorrectly issued. I think that shed needs a building permit, but not necessarily a zoning variance. And for the patios, we really have something that isn't affecting any of the neighbors. It is providing usable space for Jadelyn and her family. And we aren't dealing with any sort of overuse of impervious surfaces on the property. I am happy to have them come up and ask questions or have them verify my testimony, or if you have any questions for the homeowners themselves.
What's the pleasure of the board here? Would you like to hear from the homeowners? Gerard, your feelings?
I'm okay.
Colleen?
I'm fine.
Okay. Is that it for your presentation?
I'm happy to answer any questions, but essentially, you can see what has been done. Obviously, it was done without permits, that's why we are here and trying to rectify this. They'll do better again. All we can ask is forgiveness at this point. They know now if they're gonna pour any more concrete, they're gonna need some permits. And they're going to go back and get all the building permits and make sure everything is code compliant.
Any questions from the board?
I do. It's not very clear. How far away from the property line is the concrete?
So, for the,
The further, the closest point touching?
on the pool, it's, a little under 4 feet. The pool itself is another, like 8 feet in.
So the concrete's 4 feet away from the property line?
From, at the very closest, it's like a few inches under 4 feet. But it's, as you can see, it's irregular shaped, so it varies. But at that very closest bump out, it's 4 feet.
Anybody else? So Bob, she brought up the structure. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, so the confusion on the plan, they had 34 inches, Jim, which would bring it under that 3-foot mark, so that's why there was a reason for denial. I did try calling them multiple times, but there was no answer to clear that up, so that's why the denial was for the shed.
Okay. Were you also speaking of the concrete as, difference in opinion, or?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that there is an argument to be made for the variance in itself. I was just unclear when I was reading the code, because a side yard was, yard was defined as anything from, something at the ground level, and we don't have anything above the ground level. And we don't have anything that's a structure between the property line and the primary residence. We just have this concrete in the ground.
So we do have an ordinance for patios, and they do have to be within outside of the setback, so she would need a variance for this.
Okay, that's understood. It was just what was cited, I guess, I was just a little confused, so I appreciate you clarifying that. But I would just say again that these are, pretty common conditions as you look through the pictures of the surrounding properties, and it really isn't having a negative impact on any of the adjacent neighbors.
Keith, anything to add? Okay, withdraw the shed variance then, if it's not an issue? Is that something you would like to do at this time?
Yes.
Okay. Do I need a motion on that?
No, not a motion.
Okay. All right. Anybody from, the audience like to come up for or against this project? Okay.
I have one more question for Bob. Bob, are there any other outstanding issues at this property?
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Pleasure of the board.
So I'll make a motion for this, but for me to be clear, this is just for the setback. It has nothing to do with the shed.
Shed's off the table, it's just a setback for the concrete patio.
Okay, then I'll make a motion for that.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Call the board.
Gerard Lycon,
Yes.
Jim McMahon,
No.
Colleen Dunn,
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see here. Sherry Cunningham, 430 Stanford Road, Fairless. Please come on up.
Do you know the date that was posted?
The date we got it, which is the date it is for the shed.
Can I see it real quick? Sure. June 27th, okay. So when you're sworn in, I'll ask you just a couple quick questions. about this. Good evening, Ms. Cunningham. You handed up some documents, one of which was the notification to your neighbors, is that accurate?
Yes.
And you had them sign all these forms?
Yes.
Okay, and then you also showed me a picture of the property that was posted. The placard was placed on the property June 27th?
Correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. So, we were just looking to get a front porch put on the front of our home. It puts us over impervious surface, as well as there's a front yard setback. But that's really it. We're just trying to improve the aesthetic of our home. We're looking to get we want to have cover over our front door, which we don't currently have. So that's basically what we're looking to do, as well as, we want to expand the apron of our driveway. So the driveway is wider than the apron, so we just want to match those up. So as we're getting older, we can park easier. So that's really all that it is. I don't know. We do have a PowerPoint, if you want to put that up. I don't know if yes. So the porch will go out 8 feet from the shorter portion of the house, and it goes out 8 feet and 24 feet long. That's the size of the porch we're looking to have put on. So if you want to look at the front of the house.
Mr. Chairman, we can mark the PowerPoint as A1.
So there's the front of the house. So it would just come out a couple feet beyond that A-frame area there, and just to add to the aesthetic, and like I said, just to give us some nice coverage over the front door, and that's all we're really looking to do. Take out that landscaping area there. I was just giving you a picture of all the front and back, because you can see where we want to expand the apron as well.
Jim, just for clarity, she would be at 17 foot for a front yard setback and right around 41% for impervious.
So she's supposed to be, what, 35? All right, so 6%, 6% over.
The apron's not on this, right? It's not, should I ask for the apron?
That's a separate item.
It's completely separate, right?
We did put that in the documents, yeah.
17. All right, anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Gerard?
No, everything looks great.
Good,
over there.
Colleen.
I have a question. So, when you were saying the 41%, Bob, is that with the proposed porch, or
That's
the porch
include-
and the apron?
That's including the apron. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody from the audience? Okay. What's the pleasure of the board, please?
I'll put a motion for it.
I'll second it.
All the board.
Colleen Dunn,
No?
Jim McMahon,
Yes.
Gerard Lycon,
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right. Number 7, Jason Kerper, 338 Parkway Avenue, Langhorne. Please come on up. Yeah, they can swear in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Kerber, you handed me some documents, one of which is certified mail receipts. Is that accurate?
Yes.
All right, and you mailed the notification letters that provided to you by the township to these addresses. Is that accurate?
I did, both regular mail and certified.
Okay, and then also you handed me a couple colored photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted as required, and the property was posted July 1st. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, thanks.
Good, Jason.
Good evening, board. I'd like to say it's a pleasure to see you all again. I'm the owner of 1310 Edgeley Road.
I originally purchased a property in 2019, and I had used it for storage for my construction company. And over the years, thankfully, we have grown, and we kind of outgrew the property. So I had purchased another property in Bensalem and moved my company over to there. In the interim, I had worked with my engineer and my architect to try to build some sort of building on the property. I had come in for a variance and wasn't approved due to parking. So in the interim of that, I had made a decision. I partnered with a guy who does duty tow, and he needed an overflow lot. So we had decided to use that, thinking that that was okay because I was part of the business, that my original variance that was granted to me in 2020, I was allowed to do that. I had received a phone call from Bob and Bo and said that that specifically wasn't allowed. So we had a nice meeting. We discussed what we could do moving forward. He pulled my original variance, and the 6-foot chain link fence with fabric was actually approved originally where I didn't think it was. So we had erected that. The property is completely concealed. You can't see anything from the road. It's safe from people. You get a lot of foot traffic down there. The neighbors, they don't see anything right now. So what I'm looking to do is get a variance to add storage temporarily for cars to be parked there waiting the insurance company to come pick them up temporarily for the interim. It may be a year, maybe 2 years. I'm still working with my engineer and my architect to try to design something that would fit down there that makes everybody happy. But in the interim, I needed to bring some money in to help pay bills, taxes and things of that nature down there. So that's what I'm looking to do.
All right, is that it?
Yeah.
Questions from the board?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead, Gerard.
The gentleman or person, I don't know if it's a male or female, that stores all the cars there, do they operate in Bristol Township or do they operate in somewhere else?
They operate everywhere, and that's why when we got together, that was a good location for him because it's an interim between his yard that he has, I think, in Marsville, as well as his yard that he has in Philadelphia on the border of Bensalem. And I just didn't have enough room at my current property, so where Edgley kind of worked out for him in the interim. So we partnered up, and I make a percentage off of what the insurance company pays for the storage, and that helps pay the bills down there.
So he doesn't have a business in Bristol Township?
I don't think so, no.
Pardon me? Okay.
I don't think so, no.
Also, I'm a little bit familiar with insurance companies, smashed up cars, et cetera.
Yep.
A lot of these cars are pretty damaged. That's why they're sitting there. They leak oil, leak antifreeze, leak battery acid, transmission fluid, et cetera. How are you controlling any of that?
I did tell him to limit the type of vehicle that he parks there because this is an overflow lot. So if a car's gonna sit there longer, it's already been at his prior yard. He just needed more time to bring in the new cars that are most recent. So he typically pulls batteries, and the fluids obviously have already been drained out that are leaking because they are currently at his yard. So he does that there and then brings them over as long.
Well, what I seen a while back, like maybe a month or two back, these cars are destroyed. They're not just damaged, they're destroyed, like major accidents. And storing the cars there, I know they gotta leak something, I mean, we have an issue at our place that we stick pans underneath them. I didn't see nothing under any of those cars. And I know he's right on the corner there, the property's right on the corner, I know.
Well, we have that additional parking lot as well.
Yeah, and I know when the tow people come out, they're always blocking the road or, tying up things. I have that problem at my shop, and I make sure I stay on top of them there all the time, that they don't block the road or load anything
Yeah, I mean,
in the
that's
road.
pretty wide there, and we have a pretty wide shoulder, and I do tell them to adhere to the hours, 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. So that's more so like
I mean,
bring them in.
one time I was out there, I did see a big wrecker out there, dragging one up, was
Okay.
missing a wheel, dragging it right up on a rollback, out in the street. I don't know if he just pulled it out there for him or what, but he was dragging it right up there.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, insurance companies, well, they send whatever they're gonna send to pick things
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I just, he's not in our township, storing pretty smashed up cars there, leaking, it just doesn't sound good.
I understand.
Anybody else? Eileen? No. Okay. Is that all you have, Jason?
I do, thank you.
All right, now here we go. Audience participation, please. Come on up, sir.
Yeah, I'm the neighbor that lives right next
Oh,
door.
you gotta be sworn in, sir,
Oh,
please.
Sorry.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Yeah,
Your name, please, sir.
Brian Bartlett. Neighbor that has the bird's eye view of the property. First off, I don't know what short-term means in his variance request. Short-term to me is usually like 7 days, but there's cars that have been on that property now for 4 or 5 months or more. Secondly, this morning I did a count of how many cars were on the property that I could see just from my front window, and it was 30 cars. There is no way they can get any of the cars off of that property right now without dragging them out into the street in order to be able to do work. Which, when they drag these cars out in the street with broken parts or whatever, parts are falling off the cars and they're not cleaning up behind themselves. I've picked up stuff from my own yard that were parts from cars. There's parts that are still out in the street from these cars. These cars are definitely leaking fluids. When I got home today, there was all kinds of oil stains and other fluid stains on the street in front of my house, going all the way down the block towards the entrance to that property. They may be trying to stay within the hours of between 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. is when they're not supposed to be operational. I'm awake at 3 in the morning to go to work, and there are nights where I'm woken up at 2 a.m. by the sounds of tow trucks on that property. There's mornings I'm getting up to get ready to go to work, and I look out the window, and there's a tow truck on that property. They're sometimes putting cars onto the property at 3 in the morning. There are times that they're taking cars off of the property at 3 in the morning, which I still can't fathom how that business model works. It's a disaster. And if there was a fire to occur on that property right now, the firefighters would not be able to get in there to go through and put out the fire. They'd have to go through and set up from outside the property and spray water across the entire length of the property, or go through my yard with the hope of being able to get to where a fire may be on the back of that property right now. Plain and simple, I don't want to live next to a junkyard. It's hurting my property value. It's hurting the property values of my neighbors. This is a disaster. The neighbors that live behind the property have dogs. They're woken up at all hours of the night because of these tow trucks. No, this has got to go. It's a residential property. That's a commercial business. Plain and simple.
Yeah. Mr. Bartlett, can you spell your last name for me, please?
B-A-R-T-L-E-T-T.
Okay. Is that all you have, Mr. Bartlett?
That's all I got. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to answer.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Bartlett? Okay. No, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Kerper, you want to address any of that?
I mean, he lives there. He's there more than I am. I obviously don't live in that area. It's not a home. It's a garage. Whatever concerns he does have, I'll make sure they're addressed. So we did have concerns, and I made sure I addressed them with them. If they're still not following through, I have to follow through. And that's part of being in business. So that's all I can do is try to rectify it and try to fix it and try to make everybody happy at the same token. In defense with oil, I mean, that is a very high traffic area. It could have been from those cars. It could have been from an accident that occurred. I don't know. I don't have proof of how that oil got in the street. You know, is he wrong? Not at all. It could be. I just don't have that answer, so.
So when you were stating temporary, you're saying temporary the business or temporary for the cars to be there? So he's saying the cars have been there several months. Mm-hmm. Is that, were you speaking of the cars only being there a certain amount of time, or are you talking about this business in general being there?
It's both. I have to work with my engineers and I have to work with my architect to try to figure out what I can erect there that makes sense not only for myself financially and the township. So in the interim, this is what I did, thinking it was okay because it's part of my business that I got involved in. If it's not okay, it's completely understandable.
So he stated 30 cars. Is that a true statement?
I was not there today, so there possibly very well could be.
How many, if say that for some reason they give you this variance, the board does, how long are you talking? Give us a number.
I'd like to see at least a year. I wholeheartedly would much rather have a 2-unit or 3-unit building there. Where I'm struggling is impervious surface and parking. And that's been tough because the build cost nowadays is very expensive. And if I was to build, let's say, a duplex, over the 20 years, I would just be getting my money back on that structure. So it's hard to justify spending $250,000 on a building that may not return it in a significant amount of time. So I'm trying to make it work, but at the same token, I haven't gotten to a solution.
Bob, is there an amount of cars that should be on that lot?
The ordinance doesn't have a number of cars for that use, but there is a 30-day limit where they would have to rotate. The number of cars the ordinance has.
And who's gonna police that? No, but you don't have time to do that, right? So, I got you. All right. Mr. Bartley, can you come up here a second? I feel your, pain, right?
I
Whatever.
do have a photo of the front of the property from today.
Is there any possible condition that it can make this?
I mean, if we're talking this is only gonna be like temporary, it's only gonna be for another year or whatever, okay, fine. But again, there's currently 30 cars on the front half of the property that I counted. That's what's in my photo, is at least 30 cars. And that's only the front half of the property. That's not counting the back half of the property, which I couldn't see from that particular view because there's a tree blocking
So
it.
there could be more than 30.
So there is probably over 50 cars on the property right now.
Right.
And if you were trying to get from the front of the property to the back of the property, you're climbing over top of cars. And these guys, when they're parking stuff in there to get stuff, they're not caring about whether or not they hit one of the other cars, because I've heard the noises, them backing in and crashing of cars, and, they may have gone through and drained the fluids before they brought them there, but I don't think they did. Obviously, in transport, not all the parts fell off the car in transit, especially after you slam into them on the property. Create more stuff broken on them.
Yeah, I was just curious of your feelings on,
Yeah, no,
I don't know what the number of cars could possibly
There's a
be.
lot.
I'm not saying, what's that, Gerard?
There's a lot of cars.
I've driven by there, it's packed. You can't move a car.
Yeah, over this past weekend, they packed it to the point where they could not get a car onto the property without taking something off.
I'm just asking questions. I'm not sure the board's even gonna grant this variance, so I'm just, wanna be
I understand.
in the right position. So, okay, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the audience like to come up? Jason, you have anything else to add?
I do not, and thank you for your time this evening.
Okay, Bob?
Nothing to add, Jim.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for Mr. Kerper? Okay, hit me with it. I need a motion, approve or deny?
I'll make a motion against this. I just think it's the wrong place for it. It's just the wrong spot.
To deny?
To deny, yes.
I'll second the denial.
All right, call the board.
Gerard Lycon,
Yes.
Jim McMahon,
Yes.
Eileen Dunn,
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes. Sorry, buddy.
Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Okay, all right, so, before we get to number 8, which is 65 Holding LLC, is anybody here to oppose 65 LLC? So you're here to oppose the application? Okay. Is the applicant here? Okay. Mr. Bidleymeyer? Okay. So there's been a discrepancy on the address, on the application. So, with, yeah. I'm gonna hand it over to our solicitor.
So if the applicant, if you could come up to the podium, all right. Yes, you can hand that up. Is it Lojowski?
Yes.
Okay. All right, yeah, if you could just take the podium, so, So, sir, on your application, it has, the street address of the property is 725 Old Orchard Lane?
726
Yeah.
Old Orchard Lane.
Yeah, so if you can come up, then I can show this to you real quick.
Yep.
So on the application that was submitted to the township, it has the wrong address, and that's the address that was advertised in the Bucks County Courier Times. So this is the application that you submitted to the township? In any event, that's what was submitted. So that's what was advertised. So it was advertised incorrectly. So it has to be re-advertised correctly with the right address. Okay? And unfortunately, it can't proceed since it was advertised incorrectly with the wrong address. Okay? So the township will notify it. I'm sure Mr. McTeague will do his best to try to get you on next month's next month's agenda, so that, again, it can be re-advertised. And then the township will contact you what has to be done. Okay? All right, so this, I don't know who submitted this application? Okay. We just have to make sure that when it is resubmitted, that it has the right address so the township can advertise it appropriately. Okay? All right, so with that being said, we'll continue it, and we would continue it on the record. However, it's gonna have to be re-advertised. All right? And then, the township will be in contact with you. Bob, I don't know who will contact him, but I'm sure somebody from
Dawn will contact you.
will contact you about re-advertising and then putting you on next month's agenda, which would be August, second Monday in August.
Okay.
Okay?
Make sure you
Yes,
post
yes,
a
this-
yellow paper, because I didn't see a yellow paper on the street at all. I couldn't find that address.
On the window, right.
Okay. I didn't,
There's a giant window.
I was looking for 725, and it didn't
Oh, yeah,
exist.
well, yeah, then,
Yeah,
yes.
and then I looked at the house next door, and I quite didn't see it.
Okay.
Right.
All right, hold up. We're not yelling out.
Yeah.
We're just, okay. So, just stand up to the podium, would you please? All right? All right.
No, it's gonna be continued.
Yes, so we're gonna do a continuance. Is August okay with you? Can you have all that taken care of by the second week in August? Or do you need a?
Yeah, it's just a matter of, yes.
Okay, so, the board heard, our solicitor. I need a motion for a continuance on number 8, applicant 65 Holding LLC.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Call the board, please.
Gerard Lycon.
Yes.
Jim McMahon.
Yes,
Colleen Dunn.
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes.
okay, all right, we'll see you next month, sir, all right?
Just hang on to these till next month. All right? And they'll have more instructions for you. The township will have more instructions.
All right, Ariana Thompson, oh, hold on. Yes, sir,
Just a quick question, are we gonna get re-notified again about this?
Yes.
absolutely.
Because I got certified letter.
Yeah, the whole process is starting over again.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
Yeah. Okay, Ariana Thompson, 1970 Veterans Highway, Levittown, please come on up, Michael. Go ahead.
All right, good evening. My name is Mike McGinnis. I'm an attorney with Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. I am here tonight on behalf of Ariana Thompson. My client is the owner of the subject property of this application located at 5616 Fleetwing Drive. The property is zoned in the R3 district. It's a little over 0.15 acres and is improved presently with a single-family detached dwelling. My client, who is here with me this evening, and her team, Scott Sampson, her architect who is sitting to my left, and her contractor appeared a few months ago for something which was substantially similar, but was differentiated for a few reasons we're going to get into in a minute, and was denied via a tie vote. The application was seeking permission for a residential conversion, which we are still here to seek permission for this evening, which my client would reside in. The dwelling unit which we are proposing would be constructed above the existing dwelling. My client at the time of the original hearing testified that she's employed as a director of nursing and was going to rent the main dwelling and move into the apartment which would be constructed herself. She also testified at the original hearing that her neighbors along Fleet Wing had no objection to her request, and no one spoke in opposition at that time to the application. There was some confusion at the time of the original presentation and application as to whether this was just a special exception, which was what was applied for, or whether there was a variance that was needed either for additional impervious surface or for parking. Since that time, Ms. Thompson has retained our office. Tri-State Engineering was also retained to construct, to work in tandem with our team to construct the approvals and the entitlements which we're seeking this evening, but also to do a survey of the property. What has occurred since then is confirmation of the following. The site is fully compliant with the dimensional criteria. There is additional parking, which you can see, which is proposed to the rear of the existing dwelling, which I think was an explicit suggestion of a couple of the board members at the end of the first hearing, and that there is no additional relief which is necessary for any other criteria, including impervious surface. What that means is the only thing that we are here for this evening is approval via a special exception to allow the residential conversion. As all the board members are aware, a special exception is a permitted use in the township in the subject zoning district, so long as the criteria which are delineated are met as part of the application. There are 8 criteria which we will go through in a second as part of residential conversion, and all 8 of the criteria are met by our application this evening. So I would suggest to the board that A, this is a functionally compliant permitted use for this property, that the concerns which were raised by the board members at the time of the first hearing have been addressed, that my client has taken the feedback from the board at the time of the first meeting seriously and has retained legal counsel and had a survey conducted on this site. So with that, I would like to offer Mr. Sampson, who again is the project architect, to be sworn in, provide testimony. Then, as I indicated at the outset, Ms. Thompson is here too if there are any questions that remain unanswered.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, good evening, Mr. Sampson. Can you please state your name for the record?
Scott Sampson.
Okay, and where are you employed?
I am employed with Acorn Tiny Homes.
Okay, and are you the architect for this project?
Yes.
And did you design the plan which is before the board this evening for consideration?
Yes.
And did you in fact design the first plan which was before the board for consideration months ago?
Yes.
All right. And we are still here to discuss a residential conversion, is that correct?
Yes.
With the key distinction being, as opposed to the first application, we are now depicting the construction of additional parking spaces to the rear of the existing dwelling, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And Ms. Thompson, as I made the representation to the board at the outset, plans to move into the dwelling unit to be constructed above the existing home, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Can you just very briefly cover the proposed improvements that we are here to seek approval for this evening?
Yes, of course. What we would like to do is to, okay, yeah. What we would like to do is to extend the existing driveway right here to the rear of the yard and create a concrete parking lot which would be able to park 4 cars with 9 by 18 parking spaces. There is a 6th spot at the rear here, which would function as the 6th and overflow spot, but would also function to allow cars to be able to back out and come out the driveway. There is currently an existing fence that is running right down the property line to essentially to the end of the property or near the end of the property, which is already there. It's a chain link fence, I believe. Something else that we're doing is we're creating a stairway to access the 2nd floor, which is where Ms. Thompson will be living. It is at the rear of the property, And also underneath the stair, we will use that additional space to house trash containers.
Okay. And I made the representation of the board that Tri-State Engineering was retained and conducted a site survey and have verified that the improvements which we are proposing are contained within the property boundary. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that this can be constructed while in compliance with other performance standards such as impervious surface. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Meaning we're here for the approval of the special exception for a use that is otherwise permitted in the underlying zoning district. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you're aware that there are certain criteria delineated in Bristol Township's Code of Ordinances to permit a residential conversion. Is that right?
I am, yes.
Okay, I'm going to walk through those very briefly with you. So the first criteria for an A6 residential conversion in the township is a requirement that the building that's converted meet the minimum yard requirements for the use in the applicable zoning district. Is that compliant with our plan to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. The second requirement is that detached dwellings which are converted must maintain the appearance of a detached dwelling with a single front entrance. There's criteria that stairways leading to the second floor or any higher floor shall be located either within the walls of the building wherever practical, or the stairways and fire escape shall otherwise be located on the rear wall in preference to either side wall, and in no case on a front wall or on a side wall facing a street. And then the last line is after conversion, the building shall retain substantially the same structural appearance it had before the conversion. Can you just briefly detail to the board what you're doing to make sure that this is aesthetically in keeping with the community here?
Yes. If you could open up a file on that thumb drive. There's a file called Existing Elevations, which is showing what is currently there. The top left drawing here is basically the facade that is facing the street. It's a one-story house with a gabled roof, a single door for an entrance. And if you were to go to the proposed elevations, this is the proposed new elevation, which is essentially just adding a story, adding a new roof, but in the exact same format as what's currently there. There's still a single door for an entrance here. At the bottom drawing here, you can see the rear stair at the rear of the building, which accesses the apartment above.
So functionally, if we were traversing on Fleetwing, looking into the property, this would look like a single-family detached dwelling in Bristol Township. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. The third criteria is a requirement that for properties serviced by public sewer, we're going to have to get a certification from the servicing authority that there's adequate capacity. We're aware of that, and that's a will comply, correct?
Yes.
Fourth is that separate cooking, sleeping, living, and bathroom facilities would be provided for each dwelling unit, and that's planned for with this. Is that correct?
Yes.
Fifth is that trash receptacles shall not be visible from the street or abutting properties except on scheduled pickup days, and you've already addressed compliance with that, correct?
Yes.
Sixth, the building must be occupied at least 7 years before it's converted. And I believe based on my review, this was constructed at least going back to the 60s and was purchased by our client in October of 2017. Is that correct?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge?
Yes, to the best of my knowledge.
And then seventh, off-street parking spaces shall be located to the side or rear of the converted structure, which we are complying with. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then the final criteria that we have to illustrate is off-street parking lots with 3 or more spaces shall be buffered from abutting residences by hedge material placed on 3-foot centers, or alternatively, a 4 to 5 foot fence may be erected to provide screening. And there is a fence on this site, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I made the representation at the outset to the board that Ms. Thompson communicated or has stated to us that she had communicated with her neighbors and that no one voiced an objection. Is that true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any reason to believe that this would be harmful in any way to the township or the community along Fleetwing Drive?
No, I do not.
Okay. And with that, I have no further testimony. As I indicated, Ms. Thompson is here. I would just suggest at the conclusion, with a special exception, we don't need to illustrate a hardship. We just need to illustrate compliance, and at which point, respectfully, it becomes a permitted use in the underlying zoning district. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question. So you want to park cars in the backyard? You're going to turn the backyard into a parking lot?
We have to create parking spaces.
It would be in the, behind the house, correct?
These would be behind the house.
Yes, and that's not keeping with the community. No one else has that, correct?
I don't know if that's a true statement or not.
I've looked at Google. I can't find anybody that has cars in the backyard, parking spaces.
So in order for this use to be permitted, it says specifically, off-street parking spaces shall be located to the side or rear of the converted structure. That is a quote in the Bristol Township zoning ordinance, which we are.
I understand that, but we're talking about keeping with the community, being similar to everything that's around it. No one else that I know of has that, correct? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know that. I'm just stating that it's complying with the explicit language in the ordinance.
I understand what you're saying completely. Thank you.
Okay. So, anybody else?
Yeah, I have some questions. Ms. Thompson, do you live, could you come up to the mic?
Gotta be, you have to be sworn in, right? Please. Ms. Thompson.
I think it's sworn in first.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
How long have you owned that property?
it's 2017.
2017. Is somebody renting it now?
No, it's empty.
It's empty. How long has it been empty for?
Since, I want to say February, May, March.
This year.
Yeah, this year.
Okay. How long have you lived at the 1970, 413, I guess you would call it?
1 year.
20 years?
One.
Oh,
year.
1 year. Okay, I'm sorry. Answer to your question over there, Ed. That's in the Bloomsdale area. They all have rear parking. They have alleyways behind all their.
I know they are, yes.
Yeah. And you plan on living in the upstairs?
Yes, I want to go back home.
Okay.
But I want to give back to the community that helped me.
Pardon me?
I want to give back to the community that helped me by renting out the bottom of it. There's people that actually need the help, so if I can do it and still stay home, why not?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Thompson, on the, you're gonna, as long as you're renting out that bottom space, you are gonna be living there, right? Is that
Yes.
correct? Under no circumstances are you gonna rent both spaces
No, I'm going to
to
live
somebody
there.
else? You're
That's
staying
my home.
on, okay. So, will you agree to that condition that as long as that house is being rented at the bottom, you're staying in the top part of that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Anybody else have any questions?
I'm sorry, can I make one other comment or suggestion?
Absolutely. Go
All
right
right,
ahead.
so I watched the video of the first hearing, and as I indicated, it was a 2-2 vote. And one of the comments that was raised, there was a question that Ms. Thompson posed at the end of the hearing about what could be addressed potentially on this, and the suggestion was additional parking. The reason for the addition of the parking was not because it was what Ms. Thompson desired to do as part of the original application. The original application didn't have parking to the rear, but it was denied, and one of the reasons for the denial was a concern that there wasn't sufficient parking, despite the fact that this is functioning as a single-family dwelling with just one individual living above it. I would suggest that if the difference in a approval and a denial is a concern regarding the parking to the rear, I'll reiterate as part of the original presentation, I don't think Ms. Thompson is insistent upon the parking to the rear. If the board's inclined to grant the approval for the residential conversion without the parking, we would be happy to do that too. Just we're looking to find a way in good faith to comply with the explicit mandate of the ordinance. So if the pleasure of the board was, we don't really like the parking to the rear, we take Mr. McMahon at his concern that Ms. Thompson remain here. We know this is not going to be a property where there's going to be 10 individuals residing. We think the original parking layout is functionally sufficient, if not legally sufficient. I'm confident in saying that Ms. Thompson would be more than happy to pivot back to the original plan if that was the pleasure of the board. Just throwing that out there.
Okay. What does the board think? I listen, it's allowed in this condition. So, and I I get Ed's point, and I understand, and this is what we requested, you know, at the last hearing that Ms. Thompson was at. So, that being said, I don't hear the thoughts of the rest of the board members, if they so choose to, or not. It's still up to them.
So I have a question, Bob. So as long as she's living there, that's what's in the ordinance, that if she's living there, this could be allowed.
Now, the ordinance doesn't state that. That was the condition.
Petition of
with the
me,
board.
right.
Okay.
What they're going for is a residential conversion, which turns one unit into two, but Ms. Thompson is staying in one of the units.
That's right.
Right, but if she moves out, nothing changes.
But she's
It
not allowed
continues
to.
as 2 units, or?
She can't rent it.
She can't rent it out.
It's all depends on the.
But what if she sells it? I mean, how does that?
I mean, maybe Mike would agree to a deed restriction on
Like-
that. I don't, yeah, that's
You almost treat it as an in-law suite, where a lot of in-law suites that get approved have a deed restriction of some sort that's attached to it.
Yeah, I don't want to open a can of worms.
No, understood. Yeah.
Anybody else have a question in the
I
audience?
do have a question. I didn't see it in the packet. Is there a capacity letter from Bristol Township?
No, we have
Sewer?
that as a will comply. We're aware that that's a requirement as a condition before we're able to construct. So if we don't have that, we can't construct. But we've, respectfully, Ms. Thompson has expended significant funds at this point. We're aware, we've had conversations with the township. I can make that representation regarding whether a lateral needs to be cammed, whether we need to acquire an additional EDU. The engineer for the authority has changed. So those conversations have happened, and we recognize that it would have to be fulfilled in order for a permit to be pulled.
I think it would be an additional EDU at that point, would it not?
We think so,
Because it's a
too.
separate dwelling.
Yeah, that's our interpretation as well.
Is that it?
No, I'll just reiterate, if there's one way or the other to get this through, we'll work either way with the township. That's all we have. Thank you.
All right, we'll get to that point during the motion part of it. Anybody from the audience like to come up for or against this project? Okay. I need a motion.
I like to put a motion for it, as long as she lives in the upstairs, like she says, and definitely want the rear parking. This way, it doesn't inconvenience the street. So I'd like to put a motion for it.
All right, so the conditions are she stays there as long as she rents, and the parking stays.
But if the property sells,
So you're looking for a deed restriction as well?
yes, a deed restriction, that they would have to come back in, whoever's buying
Go
it.
ahead, Keith.
Mr. McGinnis, would your client agree to that, to de-restrict the property?
Can I ask very briefly? All right, that would be agreeable. We can work, Mr. Bidley-Meyer, with your office to come up with language that's acceptable.
All right. I'm gonna second the motion. Call the board, please.
Colleen Dunn.
No.
Gerard Lycon.
Yes.
Jim McMahon.
Yes.
I'm Ed Murphy. I'm gonna say yes, but the deed restriction is really important. It has to be, I mean, if she's not there, it has to revert back to what it was.
Okay, understood. We'll supply Mr. Bidley-Meyer. He can circulate the board for their approval before it's executed.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, okay. All right. Sorry, Bob, I didn't get you. Okay. Carrier 52 LLC. Please come on up. Okay. Oh, good. Mike's up again.
Well, thank you.
Okay, you may proceed.
All right, good evening. My name is Mike McGinnis, here on behalf of Carrier 52. I have also distributed a zoning decision which was authored by Mr. Bidley-Meyer, the cover letter dated May 8th, 2024. If we want to mark that at the beginning, that would be great, please.
If you don't have any other exhibits?
I do not, no.
We'll mark this as A1.
All right, great, thank you. My client is the owner now of 5027 Bristol Pike, which consists of two separate parcels. They are located in the C zoning district. They're a little less than 1 1/4 acre. This is a much different application than one we typically submit, in that we're not asking for any additional relief. There is no really standard for which this is adjudicated under. I will absolutely admit that this is totally discretionary on behalf of the zoning hearing board. My client's predecessor in interest, which is probably confusing because they had a very similar name, went to the zoning hearing board and was granted a special exception to allow for truck repairs and sales to occur at this property last year. That is what I just circulated to the zoning hearing board for consideration. My understanding, was not present for that meeting or any prior meetings, was that historically there's been some issues with this property regarding property maintenance and other conditions on site with that owner, which probably led to the attaching of certain conditions as part of that approval. There are two pertinent conditions referenced in the approval letter, which I will speak to in a second. They are listed in paragraph 9, one of which we are here for and one of which we are not here for. So in paragraph 9, subsection 3, it states there will be no rentals or leasing of space for overnight truck parking. Subparagraph 4 states applicant must receive land development from Bristol Township before occupancy. We are not here for the condition that states there will be no rentals or leasing of space for overnight truck parking. Now, we are fine with that condition. That is not occurring on this property. We are here for the fourth condition regarding no occupancy until land development approval happens. So here's where we are, essentially. In the spring, Carrier 52 retained our office for development approvals. They had previously retained the services of Brett Weber, who's the project architect, and Bustamante Engineering. Development plans have been put together and submitted to the township in the form of a sketch plan, which depicts the construction of a building that's a little less than 5,000 square feet. We've had staff meetings. We've been working through some technical items with the township and township engineer and township traffic engineer, specifically, for example, whether the site would function better with 2 points of ingress and egress or a singular point of ingress and egress, noting that we're going to need an HOP approval from PennDOT. In the interim, my client stopped renting from the other property, which they had occupancy in before they moved forward purchasing this property. And they have their own inventory for truck sales, and went to store its inventory on this site, going through the balance of the land development process, and in fact applied for a fence permit on the property because there were some issues ongoing with vandalism and trespassing. The fence permit led to Mr. McTague contacting our office, indicating that the storage of the trucks, again, which are their trucks, their inventory, they're not leasing it for truck parking, was not permitted on the site. There were some questions at first, I think, as to whether the trucks that were on site were being rented or leased to third parties. Again, that's not happening. So the third condition respectfully is not applicable, but the fourth condition is still applicable, which had caused some confusion, meaning my clients were of the impression that since they were not occupying the property, that they were not in violation of the fourth condition. We informed them that that still technically counts as occupancy. They are still going through the land development process, but because of the condition that attached to the prior owner of the property, they were not allowed to do this moving forward until the township approves the land development. As I indicated, they are going through the land use process. We tried to come up with what I'm hoping is sort of a middle ground, equitable solution, where the township would allow my client to have no more than 15 of their trucks here, their own inventory, on the site just through the rest of the calendar year. So it's July right now. For 5.5 months, that's it. The amended condition would expire, or my client would end up having their development approvals, because what I'm presuming, not wanting to speak for the township, but my assumption is the township is fine with having a actual truck sales business occur at this property, but they want a building built with a truck sales business. They don't want this property turning into just surface parking. So the suggestion was, we agree with that. We are moving forward with the land development process, and if it's January 1 and there's no development approvals, all the trucks have to go, or there's citations and violations that are listed. So it's not a revocation of that condition, it's just a tweak of that condition for a short period of time. The rest of it, I don't want to belabor the point. The rest of it's still the same, the rest of the conditions attached, there's no zoning relief. So again, a little bit of an odd scenario, but that is what we're here to request in the form of an amendment to that one condition. I do have my client, John Usinoff, who's here. I can have him sworn in. He can adopt everything that I've said as his own testimony, and then happy to answer any questions the board has.
Sure, bring him up.
Good evening.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. Mr. Usinoff, can you state your name for the record and spell it, please?
My name is Jamshid John Usanoff. Last name Usanoff, USANOV. First name Jamshid, JAMSHID.
All right, I'm just going to ask you a couple very brief questions, Mr. Usinoff. So you heard the summary that I provided the board, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. If I called you to testify, was my summary substantially similar to the testimony that you would have provided the board tonight?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you acquired this property back in August of 2024, is that correct?
Correct.
You were not the prior owner that appeared before this board, is that correct?
We have no relationship to the prior owners.
Okay. And you submitted plans to the township, which are under review, to facilitate the construction of a building for truck sales for your use, is that right?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And you have been storing, I think you said today there might be 8 or 9 trucks on this
Right.
site, your inventory on this property, correct?
Right, correct.
And you applied for a fence permit and realized that this was not
Right.
permitted, correct?
We were not aware of the condition. In general, this is our first real estate property, so we thought we'd just buy it and then we can store stuff. We didn't know anything about this until Mr. McGinnis addressed the issue to us.
Right, and these are your vehicles?
Yes, they're all titled to us, yes.
You're not subleasing to a third
No,
party?
we're not.
It's not truck parking?
No, it is not.
Okay. And we volunteered a condition that this only goes through the rest of this calendar year until hopefully you get your land use approval from
Yes,
the
correct.
township?
Yes.
Okay. And you intend to install a fence and keep the property in proper orderly condition, is that correct?
That's correct. That's what we wanted initially because there's a lot of trespassers and both from there's a big number of homeless people trashing, trespassing. Also, there is from the prior ownership or even before that, a lot of trucks, they come and then they just trespass even though we posted some signs saying no parking. We have trash issue, they leave trashes, all this stuff.
Okay.
So that's why.
And my last question is, you're aware that if the board were to amend this condition to say through 2025, that if you do not have your land development approval and you wake up and it's January 1 of 2026, you are no longer allowed to park your inventory here, correct?
We'll move everything out of the yard.
Okay, that's all I have.
So I just have, I ride by this property every day on the way to work and the way home from work, and it is a mess. I mean, an absolute mess. And when I ride by there and I see trucks parked there, it gets my blood pressure up because I know they're not supposed to be there, okay? So that's, and then there's 2 cars parked there in the lot. I have no idea what they are for. I don't know who,
The small
somebody
cars?
living in them, somebody, security, I don't know.
The small, the site doesn't have any security. These are our personal cars. We just
Okay.
store it over there.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So
We don't have active security in the site. That's why we get a lot of trespassers and all that.
Okay. So my next question is to Bob. So from owner to owner, this just jumps over from owner to owner with no problem?
Approval would stay with the land.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, anything else, anybody else from the board have any?
Yeah, I have some questions. If we were to approve you, if we approve it, you need a dumpster there. You don't have a dumpster.
Sure. Yeah,
There's a
well-
pile of trash neatly in the corner. If we do approve you, will you do a lot of cleanup, like as far as the trees? Everything's overgrown. All sides of your property's overgrown. The sign, you can't even see with all the trees. So if we approve this, how long will it take you to get a dumpster? And how long will it take you to clean up these trees?
We'll get it done this week.
Pardon me?
We'll get it done by the end of this week. Today is Monday, so.
I mean,
Yeah.
30 days is fine with me, but it needs to be done. Whoever was there before was a total slob.
Yes.
You cleaned it up a lot, it's neat, it's organized, but there's no dumpster. I got pictures, there's a pile of trash there, neatly in bags. Everything's overgrown.
We'll take care
It don't take much to, weed whack, cut, trim, whatever, but you need to really, I mean, it's Bristol Township, we want it to look good. You know, we want you, you're right on 13, we want it to look nice. So if we were to approve that, you have no problems within 30 days have that place cleaned?
We have no problem. I agree, we have no problem. We'll take care of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Bob? Okay. Anybody from the audience like to come up for or against this project? Okay. So if approved, I'm not saying it's gonna be, let's go with conditions here, so, January 1, right? Stuff's gone. No excuses, right? If approved. Gerard's, conditions, dumpster. You got, we'll give you, say, a month, to clean the place up. All right? Fair enough? But again, I need a motion from the board.
I'll give a motion to approve it, as long as in 30 days, they have a dumpster. They trim all or cut down or remove all the weeds and trees around the property and just do some housekeeping.
Listen, this is a business plan, you got it. I know you got land development and all this. That's what this was all about when we first started this process.
I agree.
With your previous whatever. Like, there was no business model. It's just like, we're just gonna park trucks there. That's not how it works around here. So, but that, I'll digress.
And the second part of my conditions is this all expires January 1st of 2026.
All right, so I got a motion to approve from Gerard. I need a second on the motion, or not. I'm gonna make a motion, I'll second the motion. I call the board. This is not gonna go well, I can tell you that right now.
Gerard Lycon,
Yes.
Jim McMahon,
Yes,
Colleen Dunn,
No.
Ed Murphy, no.
I knew it. I knew it. Okay, there you go.
Thanks.
Do whatever you
Yep.
want.
All right.
How long do they have to get the trucks out, Bob?
All right, number 11. Bailey Plaza LLC, Crestwood Road. Come on up. All right. You may proceed, sir.
All right, good evening. Mike McGinnis here tonight on behalf of Bailey's Plaza LLC. My client is the owner of Bailey's Shopping Center and the restaurant located at 6898 Bristol Emily Road. The property is located in the C Commercial District and in total is a little bit over 3 acres. We are here to discuss bringing outdoor dining to Bailey's Bar and Grill. As I indicated, the restaurant operator is the same as the landowner, and I do have Chris Ward with me this evening. We are looking to add, and maybe, I know I'm gonna throw you out of your order here, Brian, but if we can put up the rendering, Bob, that might be the best way to start. There you go. Thank you. We're looking to add a small 45 by 32 outdoor dining space to the rear of the shopping center. It was originally 45 by 35. It was reduced by a few feet, and as you can see, we have a couple renderings that Mr. Binney, who's with us this evening, is going to walk through, but we think it's designed to look very, very nice. My clients and family have owned the property for a number of decades. We are aware that this backs on a residential community. There were correspondences that were sent from our office to a bunch of the neighbors volunteering to have a meeting and answer any questions or concerns that were associated with the project and the proposal. The dining area, which you can see, will be partially enclosed. The open air portion faces the back of the shopping center and to the south. The back wall of the dining area which is closest to the residence is enclosed without windows so that there's no lighting spillover. It does meet the setback requirements. We are adding a significant amount of buffering, which Mr. Binney will testify to in a minute. We are reducing the impervious surface percentage on the property. There is a shed, if you're familiar with the rear of Bailey's, and a concrete pad which would go away as part of the development. The operational hours for the outdoor dining will be capped so that it's closed at 10. We expect to be winding down somewhere around 9 p.m. on most nights. At the meet and greet with a couple of the neighbors, my client volunteered a condition which will affirm this evening that the fence to the rear of the property is going to end up being replaced approximately 2 years from now. So that's something that we will state for the record that we're going to undertake as well. And obviously this is in keeping with other restaurant uses which have been expanding outdoor dining all over the county really, but we're looking forward to bringing this to Bristol Township. We think it's going to be a positive amenity for our community. Most of the relief that we're seeking this evening, and Mr. Binney will detail, relates to existing conditions on site. And I'll just make one other note that the operational component of this, while not strictly seasonal, is obviously going to be weather dependent in the nicer times of year when we're going to be looking to really utilize this space to its fullest potential. Just as a quick note, going through some of the variances, we asked for a drive aisle to be 11.17 feet where 24 feet is required. That's an existing condition that we're not changing as part of this application. We're not modifying the lighting plan. So again, that's something that's not changing as part of this application, but we aren't going to have any lighting spillover to the residences to the rear. The parking, we have the same parking, 124 spaces. We're relocating 3 of the spots instead of the 170. And Mr. Ward will testify that while undoubtedly there will be, hopefully, a few more people who come to Bailey's as a result of this, the real crux of this is to try to provide another option to patrons who are already coming to the restaurant. So as much as we would love this and the restaurant to be packed every day, there is going to be some offset between people who are coming to the interior of the restaurant and people who would use the outdoor dining. And then the buffering requirement, which again could be misleading if you looked at the list of variances, we are buffering, as you'll be able to see in the plan. We are just not buffering the entire property boundary. So again, technically it's a variance, but I would suggest, are buffering the most crucial components with this application. So again, that's the sum and substance, the outset, a brief summary of what we're looking to do. And we're excited, hopefully, to get zoning relief, go through the rest of the process with the township, and then get this open. With that, I would like to call Mr. Ward to provide testimony at the beginning.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Could you please state your name for the record?
My name is Chris Ward, W-A-R-D.
Okay. And you and your family have been the owners of Bailey's, both the restaurant and the shopping center for decades, is that correct?
Yeah, my father opened Bailey's in '91, bought the shopping center some years later. This is something that he wanted to do, that we've looked to do for a long time. I finally found the right team to hopefully put it together for us. You know,
and
this is good.
Oh, go ahead. This is a rendering that
this is a rendering that we've came up with. You know, we came up with this rendering with the neighbors as the main concern. You know, making sure that we are not disturbing them you know, and harming their home, you know what I mean? You know, hours of operation for this would typically be 11 a.m., 9 would be last call, everybody's out of there by 10, you know, back inside of the bar.
And you said with the neighbors in mind, you've met with the neighbors and had
Yeah,
communications with them.
we had a meeting at the bar in the Hickory Room. Only a few showed up, but they were super positive, really loved the idea. One guy made a joke about me putting a gate in when I redo the fence so that he could just walk straight over. You know, so, you know, I told them in good faith, you know, keeping the relationship that we have ongoing with our neighbors, that, you know, I would replace their back fence, the perimeter of the bar, you know, if they would just give me an allotment of time to do so, and they were in favor of that.
So just orient me, if I'm going through the restaurant, I come out the back, is this what I'm looking at?
Yeah, you would come out the back of the restaurant and see this.
Okay, and then this portion of it's really facing the restaurant, and
Yeah.
the rear piece is facing the fence and the neighbors,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay, and then Brian will testify to this more in a second, but we are also adding buffering behind this.
Yeah, you know, like I said, this is done with, you know, them being the, you know, the most concerned of this, so we've talked about, you know, redoing the fence, putting a vinyl fence in now that is now chain link, you know, for sound, anything like that. But, you know, I'm also going to plant, you know, arborvitaes and other large bushes to, you know, limit what I don't expect to be much, but to make sure there isn't any concern for them and harm to their home.
Okay, and there's a shed and a concrete pad that's out back currently, correct?
Yes, there's a large blue shed and a concrete pad that has the dumpsters on it.
And then the shed goes away, the
The shed,
concrete
yeah,
pad goes away?
everything gets demolished and I relay down new concrete pad for the structure.
Okay. I made a statement that while you obviously hoping to generate additional traffic, customers, et cetera, that really the prime reason for this is to provide another option to patrons who are already coming to
Yeah,
Bailey's.
I know myself, I don't know if you guys can attest to it too, but like, you know, you get a nice day, maybe not today because it's incredibly hot, but like the nicer days of the spring, you want to go sit outside, somewhere's nice, you know? There's nothing really in this area for us. You know, so I'm hoping to be able to provide that for the residents of the area.
Okay. And you understand that regardless of what's constructed, there is a noise ordinance in the
Oh, yeah,
township, and you
yeah.
have to comply
Yes,
with
that's
that.
what I said. The neighbors are my concern. That's who I'm concerned with, and I did meet with them like we had spoke about.
Okay. We need relief for parking as part of the construction. What's the parking situation generally, and if you can, briefly address the board about the adjoining property?
I'm sure you guys have at least driven by. We have a large parking lot. I do have parking spots out back that is also used by patrons and other renters of mine. And I also do own the coffee shop that is there that has parking also. The coffee shop's only open till 3 p.m., so after that, that gives me another 15 spaces.
So you're not expecting to need that, but
No,
if it becomes
no,
necessary,
no,
you
I
have
mean,
that
there's
ability?
a couple times a year that maybe I get a lot of parking, St. Patrick's Day and Parade Day and things like that, but this wouldn't, you know, push us over the edge in any kind of way.
Okay. Is there any reason that you can think of that this would have a negative impact either to the other tenants in the shopping center or the community?
No, they're all looking forward to it. Like I said, we met with the neighbors, and I've spoken to numerous of them, but the few that came to the meeting were very much in favor of this.
Okay. That's all I have for Mr. Ward at this time.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Ward?
I do. Couple quick questions.
Yes, miss.
I'm sorry. My concern would be, you're talking about parking, my concern would be driving back there. Would people still have access to drive through
So
back
on
to where it
both
is?
sides of the shopping center, I do have gates.
Okay,
One of the things I'm going to implement is deliveries with the large trucks. If you're not there by 11 a.m., you need to deliver from the side of my building. There will be no driving large trucks back there. So after 11 a.m., I would shut the gate closest to this, and I did speak with the fire marshal about putting like a breakaway chain up that would limit cars, but obviously in an emergency vehicle could go through without any incidents. I'm also going to, you know, paint the parking lot, and before that, I'm gonna put a large square that's, you know, X'd off that explicitly says no through traffic, no driving.
appreciate that. And one more question. Will there be any other utilities besides electric out there?
Well, there'll be water, water and sewer, but I have all that running right in front of this, so I would just tap in.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Ward?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'll be brief with Mr. Benny. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bob, can you go back to the site?
Mr. Benny. Okay, Mr. Benny.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, Mr. Benny, can you please state your name for the record
My name is Brian Binney.
and where are you employed?
I'm employed with Jones Engineering Associates as a professional land surveyor.
Okay, and did you prepare the plan that's before the board this evening?
I did.
All right, can you just very briefly give an overview of the site plan and what we're looking to accomplish with the buffering and the addition?
So overall, as Mike said before, the property's 3 acres approximately. It contains approximately 19,000 square foot shopping center, and we're proposing to construct a 45 by 32 foot outdoor seating area. The seating area is divided into 2 parcels, or two pieces. There's gonna be a component of that's an inside bar that there's 2 garage doors, roll-up garage doors, as you saw in the rendering, that will open up so that patrons can go back and forth to the bar and the seating area. And also gives us the opportunity to secure the bar when the off hours and, bad weather. The proposal is to remove the shed and concrete pad as was stated, move the dumpsters. We're gonna remove some paving that was closer to the rear property lines and turn them back into grass so that we have a net reduction of about 1,500 square feet in impervious surface. We're proposing to plant a 30-foot wide buffer in the area where the proposed new building is. The buffer will comply with the requirements of the Bristol Township ordinance.
And the reason we're asking for a buffer variance is because of the entirety of the property line. We're not planning the entire length, correct?
Correct. Bob, if you could go back to the proposed overall plan. That one there, thanks. Oh, one more back. That's it. So as you'll note, technically, a buffer requirement is needed along the existing parking lot that is to the north or the top of this page right here. Because of the location of the parking right up against the fences, there isn't any room to construct a buffer in that area, so technically we need a variance for that. And we're not proposing to buffer the other parts of the rear property line that are not in the area of the proposed building.
Okay. And we do comply with setback requirements, correct?
Correct.
All right. You already indicated that we're reducing impervious. We have a variance with respect to lighting because we're not proposing to modify the exterior lighting, correct?
Correct. There's existing lighting on the front of the property and the rear of the property for security purposes so that Chris's employees can be lit up at night when they're leaving because they leave late at night after they close up. Excuse me. We don't want to add any additional lighting in the rear because we don't want to have the lights be distracting to the neighbors. There will be some decorative lighting, as you saw in the rendering for the internal building.
Okay. Chris touched on, but the back's enclosed as well. That addresses the lighting as well, right? The back that's closest to the residences.
Correct. There's actually 2 sides that are walled without windows. That is the rear to the bottom of the page and the building, the wall to the right of the page. Those walls are solid walls. Even though the plans show that there's block walls, masonry block walls, that's since been changed and the finish will be like a T111 finish, as is shown in the renderings.
Okay. And the variance with the drive aisle is an existing condition that we're not modifying as well, correct?
It is an existing condition, and which one is it? This one? It is up here.
Okay. Is there, the last comment or question I have, Mr. Binney, is there was questions regarding circulation. Obviously, it's critical that the fire marshal is convinced that this is safe, that there's access in the event of an emergency. Your office, as we go through the rest of the process with the township engineer, township fire marshal, is going to work to make sure that this is compliant and safe for the township, the employees, and the patrons, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any reason why you believe that this would have a harmful or detrimental impact on the community or residents?
I do not believe so.
Okay, I have nothing further. Thank you.
No bathrooms in this, right? Structure?
Correct.
All right,
There's going to be 1 sink that's required by the health department for the bar.
all right. And then the patrons in the back will be able to access the bar through the back door? Correct. Multiple back doors?
But the plan, and Chris can correct me if I'm wrong, but the plan is in the future to make that back wall have different door styles so that it can be seen from the inside of the bar, so that two pieces are kind of connected.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Benny? No? Okay, is that it? Okay. Bob, anything to add?
Nothing to add, Jim.
Okay, anybody from the audience like to come up for or against this project? All right, hit me with it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All aboard.
Gerard Lycon.
Yes.
Jim McMahon.
Yes.
Colleen Dunn.
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes. Good luck.
Thank you, have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Last but not least, Bristol Investors LP, 200 Bar Harbor Drive, West Conshohocken. Please come on up.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. You want me to start?
Give your,
I'm sorry?
give your mailings and
Yeah,
notice.
yeah, let me just, hold on.
Yeah, we're gonna take a 5-minute recess real quick, all right?
Perfect, thank you. Mike, right, this is Mike? You're right. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
I don't.
Riverside got approved. All right, that's good. 5-2. Okay, I'll take it. Yeah, man. Boom, that's so great.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
why I voted for it.
No, I get it. I mean, that's what we asked for, I mean, that's what they, that's what they did, so. Huh? Very possible.
Really need pop. I just felt like he.
It is raining.
Yeah, yeah. Of course.
Yes.
Heat restriction, they gotta go back. They can't. I know.
I hear you. That's not the problem is 80% of the area is landlords.
I know.
But I like the condition that she must live there because my concern, I know you know, all those landlords. Sounds like that.
Yeah, they get approved and then they leave.
I hope not.
Hey, Mike. Mike, the property was posted? For tonight? Is it still posted, right? Okay.
he gets ready, we'll do this. Just let me know when you're ready. Ready? All right, you may proceed.
Thank you very much. My name is Mike Malloy. I'm from the law office of Obermeyer, Redmond, Maxwell, Hippel, and I'm here on behalf of Bristol Investors tonight. Bristol Investors is a single-purpose entity that's an affiliate of a company called Summerwood Corporation, and I've got Joe DePascal here. He's from Summerwood. Summerwood owns, the number keeps changing. It's like upwards of almost 300 Taco Bells around the area, including the Taco Bell that's currently located on Veterans Highway, or Route 413, that I used to call it growing up. The existing Taco Bell is older. Summerwood is in the process of renovating a lot of Taco Bells, replacing them with newer models, and this is one of those examples. So what they would like to do from an overall standpoint of the project is take the existing Taco Bell, repurpose that into another fast food restaurant, and then construct on the same property a brand new Taco Bell restaurant. And that's why we're here tonight. The fast food use needs to go through conditional use. So if you guys are so, if I'm so fortunate, or Summerwood's fortunate enough to get your vote on this tonight, for these variances, we'll go forward and apply for conditional use for the fast food use in the C Commercial District where the property is located. I also have with me tonight Brian Cleary. He's from the Pettit Group. Brian and I do Taco Bells all over the place. So he's an expert not only in civil engineering and site design, but also in Taco Bells and their operations. And that's pretty much what we're here for tonight. We're here to talk about two variances. One is your ordinance, and I'm not, this is not by way of criticism, we run into this a lot, requires an enormous amount of parking for fast food. And, for reasons, policy reasons, you're probably regulating the fast food. You only want so many and in the right places. But it requires 108 spaces. And what Brian would testify about tonight, or can testify about, and what Joe can verify too, is that particularly after COVID, there's just no need for parking at fast food restaurants. Brian told me anecdotally before the meeting that he looked at the past 10 Google Earth images, and the parking lot had 7 cars, once. So they will both and can both testify that there's just no need for that level of parking, and we're providing 66 spaces, which is probably, Brian will testify, about double the parking need that we really need, maybe even triple. There's also a requirement in your ordinance that we use high-pressure sodium fixtures. Brian is going to testify that they don't have high-sodium fixtures, or high-pressure sodium fixtures now, and they're a sort of outdated method to light the area. So with that, I could ask if I could please have my witnesses sworn in, and sure. You guys want to stand up, raise your right hand? So notice we didn't really mark anything. Do you have board exhibits, or do you want me to mark the application A1 and?
You can mark them and we'll follow along from there.
All right, great. So we'll mark the application and the addendum A1. I don't bring a million copies of things anymore, so I have one copy here. And then we'll mark the plan prepared by the Pettit Group. I can't see the date, but we'll say it's up on the screen, and it's CP-01, and we'll mark that as Exhibit A2. So if it's okay with the board, I will turn the meeting essentially over to Brian, who will walk you through the plan quickly, walk you through the parking, ingress and egress areas, how the two uses on the property are going to interrelate, and answer any questions you might have from an engineering perspective. Okay, great. Brian?
Hello. So it's a pretty straightforward development.
Brian, 1 second. Talk a little bit about your qualifications. How long have you been doing this?
Yes, I have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Temple University. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the states of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, and West Virginia. Pennsylvania since 2012.
I offer Brian as an expert in civil engineering and site design. So moved.
So as I indicated, it's a pretty straightforward development. There's a Taco Bell currently out there. What we're looking to do is construct the new Taco Bell prototype on the grassed area that's currently not developed on this property. The new prototype allows for a dual drive-through use with 2 menu boards. The building footprint has been optimized to really focus on the drive-through use and not internal seating. The internal seats are only 40. The property currently has a right-in, right-out access to Veterans Highway and a full access to the property to the rear. We're also, with this development, looking to add a new full access to the driveway to the north. So there will be 3 accesses to this property.
Brian, explain the
Hey, Mike.
drive-through,
Mike.
where it is.
Mike,
Yes.
if you're gonna keep talking, you gotta grab the mic.
So. Oh, sure. Okay. Sorry. Thanks. Brian, can you just explain the drive-through, explain how we won't have a stacking issue or anything like that?
Yes, so you'll enter the property from Veterans Highway. To get to the new Taco Bell, you make an immediate left, and the dual drive-through layout is accessed right there. As I indicated, with the 2 menu boards, they're able to process patrons through the drive-through lanes much quicker than a single drive-through, as the bottleneck is always at the menu board. You pick up your food at a single pickup window, and you can either leave via the driveway to the north, or you can head back out to Veterans Highway.
Now, you're going to have 2 uses on there, 2 fast food uses. Is the expectation that the old Taco Bell's drive-through is going to remain functional?
Correct.
And just explain, show the board, just highlight where the parking is in case someone does want to go into either of the restaurants.
So for the Taco Bell, it's mainly the proposed building, it's mainly located between the building and Veterans Highway. For the existing building, there's parking between the building and Veterans Highway. There's also parking on the north and east sides. So around 3 sides of the existing building.
Okay, and you've had a lot of experience doing Taco Bells around, the area, and we do a lot of parking variances. Explain, just give the board your commentary on the parking need, the actual need versus the spaces that we're providing.
So what we've seen with Taco Bells is they typically, at an absolute maximum peak, which is for a few minutes at their peak hour, they need 25 spaces, but that's really only for 5 or 10 minutes at their absolute most busy part of the week. For the rest of the week, it's typically like 12 to 15 spaces. We like to provide 25 to 30 just to make sure that there's no issues. When this property was originally developed, we provided 59 parking spaces to meet the ordinance requirements, and as Mr. Malloy indicated, there have been no parking issues with those spaces or with that property since it's been developed. We looked at Google Earth images, and it's very sparsely parked for the past 12 years since it's been there.
Moving on, there's this, I don't have my notes in front of me because they're in front of you, the high-pressure sodium lights. Can you just talk about that for a second, and then I'll turn you over to the board?
Yes, so I believe it's in the TC zone overlay district. High-pressure sodium lights are the kind that give off like the orange look. They're very old type of light fixtures. We would just like to install LED light fixtures.
Is that a definite requirement of the township?
The ordinance was drafted in '67.
I didn't, Brian found it. So that's all the questions I have for Mr. Cleary. I turn him over to the board for questions.
Any questions from Mr. Cleary? From the board? Okay.
I am done. Please offer my, put my exhibits into evidence, please.
You guys are putting LEDs up, right? Is that what you're telling me?
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right, thank goodness.
If we get the variance.
All right, anybody from the audience like to come up?
Chase them away, they're rebellious.
Right, yeah, right. Okay. Let's do this. Let's finish it off.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All the board.
Gerard Lycon.
Yes.
Jim McMahon.
Yes.
Colleen Dunn.
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
All right. I need a motion to adjourn, please.
It's a
I'll do a
mess out
motion to
there,
adjourn.
guys. Be careful.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.